AC/DC are a hard rock band originally formed in Australia. They were formed in 1973 and are still going. So they were originally formed by Angus and Malcolm Young, who play lead and rhythm guitar, respectively. They had another singer and various people, and then for a few years they were fronted by Bon Scott on lead vocals. After he died in 1980, he was replaced by Brian Johnson, who was a Geordie. He's from my neck of the woods. They had a few shuffles of drummer in the 80s before going back to Rudd, who'd been fired earlier, and then they were stable for about 20 years. Malcolm Young retired in 2014 and died 3 years later. He was replaced by Stevie Young, who was a nephew to Malcolm and Angus Young. They've had a few shuffles of members since, and they're still going. And they have released 18 studio albums so far. Hi, my name's Dan. This is a review of the album If You Want Blood, You've Got It by AC/DC. It was released in 1978 and is a live album. It was the only live album they released with Bon Scott singing on it. So obviously recorded and I believe released before his death. Yes, it was. And it was recorded in Glasgow, which is not huge distance away from where I am as I record this. This is my first time listening to it, although at times it felt quite familiar. It's got a version of Whole Lot Rosie, which I know is the version that is well known, or a version that's well known. What we've got here is hard rock, basically almost entirely in the key of A. I got fascinated by the fact that they seem to just love this one key. There are a couple of tracks, I believe, that were in E. I don't have perfect pitch. This was because of my knowledge of how a bass is put together that I could identify which key it was in. And then I checked it later against the slightly out of tune piano in our house. And it's blues rock based. So it's kind of hard rock of a blues with not even a blues underpinning. It really has come strongly blues. Some of the tracks are even 12-bar blues. I got flashes of, so I'm going to bring in references here from other bands. Status Quo, Gary Moore, amazing blues guitarist. Led Zeppelin has quite a bit of their field, but less rambling than Led Zeppelin. But that's more about the sounds than about the overall feel, I would say. We've got two guitars, we've got a bass, we've got drums. The guitar is the focus of the instruments here, especially Angus on lead. He's a great lead guitarist, but the combination of Angus and Malcolm is really strong, and they're playing to that strength. They know that this is the strength. The bass is decent, the drums are decent too. And the drums, so again, I'm going to reference Led Zeppelin here. The thing that reminded me of John Bonham in the sound of the drums is the fact that it's the hi-hats are not held tightly closed like that. They're slightly open, which makes that hi-hat sound more washy and more kind of cymbally. So instead of going tick, it goes not quite psh, something like that. Fairly large, I think, hi-hat as well, because it's a fairly low sound on it. The Led Zepp reference, though, is a bit more from Paul Scott's voice, which at times reminded me of, and his name's gone out of my mind, the Led Zeppelin singer. So this is AC/DC, and it does what I would expect of AC/DC. It's hard rocking, it's high energy, it's being live, great audience participation. I imagine that they were amazing live, probably still are. It's tight, it's fairly formulaic. It's a good formula, though, I would say. My favourite track on the album is Whole Lot of Rosie, that I've referenced before. It's a great positive body image song, I would say, although I guess that's questionable how politically correct it is. There's less of the Bon Scott wicked wink wink sense of humour than there is on some of the album stuff that I know from him. But it is great hard rock. We've got songs about women, rock and roll, hell and heaven, general rebelliousness. Again, this is what you expect from AC/DC. It's what you actually expect from hard rock, from many bands in this era. The one thing that possibly sets them apart is that they don't really delve into their fantasy. There's not songs about Lord of the Rings or strange wizards or anything like that here. It's all about life, but kind of still a somewhat fantastic take on life, and somewhat a kind of teenage approach, and deliberately. It's not sophisticated, but it hits what it's aiming for straight on the nail, and I loved it. It's a really good album, and it took me along with it. It felt energetic. It felt strong. It's well played. It's not in the main hugely technically difficult, but it's really well performed. So that's what I think of this album. I'd love to know what you think. So please let me know by leaving me a comment. But that's it from me for now.
Won't tell you a story about a woman I know. When it comes to loving, ooh, she steals the show. She ain't exactly pretty, ain't exactly small. 4 2 3 9 56. You can